Some TNG episodes that get you right here. Let's be mean into this in 3, 2.
And you're in love, my how they fly, oh blue skies, smiling at me.
Hi, my name is Eyal, and I'm an average Joe from Israel. I'm 40 years old, have 2 kids, and also a dog. Oh yeah, I'm also a Trekkie, for as long as I can remember myself.
Hot damn.
I've always loved Star Trek, and now it's finally time for me to speak about it. Welcome aboard to the Trekkies Trek, where I examine the finer points of TNG, DS9, you know the rest. So like and subscribe.
Are you kidding?
And let's be mean on this journey, where we explore all things Star Trek.
Resistance is futile.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of the Trekkies Trek. And this time I want to speak about some of the episodes of TNG. Episodes that actually make you connect on an emotional level with the characters. Now, growing up as a child and watching TNG, you're not always drawn to these emotional episodes. Usually you go more for the technological episodes, the action-filled episodes. As you grow older and you're watching the show again, you notice that there are some hidden gems among the different episodes that really make you connect with the show on a more personal, emotional basis. 2 of these episodes that I want to talk about today are The Offspring, which is the 16th episode in the 3rd season, and Lessons, which is the 19th episode in the 6th season. If you don't remember, The Offspring is the episode where Data creates his daughter, Lol, and Lessons is the episode where Picard falls in love with Commander Nella Darren. So let's go ahead and examine these 2 episodes for their human element. But first, like I always say in my other movies, I'm from Israel, so I have a little bit of accent. I hope you bear with me. And the second thing is that if you like what you see, please go ahead and click the subscribe button. It will really help the channel. There are many subscribe buttons on YouTube, but this one is mine. So let's go ahead and examine the first episode for today, which is Offspring. And as you remember, Data is able in this episode to create another positronic matrix, which up until to this point was something that people thought is impossible to do. Only Dr. Soong was able to create a working positronic matrix. And this marks the first time in the show where another Soong-type android is created. And not only that, one Soong-type android, meaning Data, is creating the second android, which is Lol. So right there you already have the question of what is fatherhood and the creation of new life. He considered it to be just something natural, becoming a father, but in fact he is creating the beginning of a new race.
I would like to have been consulted.
I have not observed anyone else on board consulting you about their procreation, Captain.
So right there you have the human condition popping up many times. Data becoming a father, Data creating a new life. Picard is trying to make sense of the situation and struggling with the meaning and the results of Data's actions. But in fact it is done in a very humorous way, in a very humane way, you might say.
Data, I am not talking about parenting. I am talking about the extraordinary consequences of creating a new life.
Does that not describe becoming a parent, sir?
So as a viewer, you are able to connect on an emotional level to the characters, to Data, to Picard, and later on to Lol, because the situation exposed the human condition.
So, it's like a cosmic string?
No, that's a completely different phenomenon.
So now we are able to relate to their emotions, to their actions, to their conflicts. And this for me really marks the trait of a good episode. And lately this episode became even more important because it can connect directly now with Picard, with season 1 of Picard, which came out 20 years later. The bond between the Offspring and Picard is in fact now unbreakable because they are dealing with the same question, they are dealing with the same action of creating new android, new Soong-type android. Let's just say Data was lucky that Commodore O was not yet in power at the time that he created Lol. Otherwise, who knows what could have happened? Actually, we do. Never mind. We're not going into that right now.
Romulan! I should have said Romulan, Klingon goat.
For me, the most powerful element in The Offspring is the scene where Lol suffers a cascade failure. But what makes the scene so powerful? Well, the fact that we don't get to see it. We only get to hear about it from Admiral Haftel after he leaves the lab and informs Wesley and Troy what happened. So this character, which actually served as an antagonist in this episode, describes for us the way that Lol dies, so we can actually see his pain. We get to see his emotion and his realization that Lol was much more than a pile of circuitry. She was in fact alive, she was in fact a life form, which now is lost. And this scene was for me so powerful that it remained with me for many years to come and still does today. So let's watch this scene for just a few seconds and move on from there.
She won't survive much longer. We'd repolarize one pathway and another would collapse. And then another. His hands were moving faster than I could see. It was remarkable. Just wasn't meant to be.
Wow, it became quite heavy in here.
There's that word again, heavy. Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull? What?
Huh? Huh? No? Okay. Moving on. Part B of the video. Lessons. So in this episode, if you don't remember, Picard falls in love with the new head of astrometric on the Enterprise, Commander Nala Darren. And for many years I, ignored this episode. Again, like I said at the beginning of the video, as a child you don't really notice this type of episode. But when you watch this episode again as a grown-up, you feel much more connected to it on an emotional basis. Because there are some great parts in this episode. First of all, the fact that we get to see Picard on a more personal basis. Because throughout the series, they kind of made a point out of it that Picard is not getting personal with anybody. Usually Picard is not showing his soft side or his emotional side. So basically you get 2 episodes throughout the entire show where you get to see Picard breaking his stoic persona and getting excited about something. One is Booby Trap, where you get excited about an old ship, and another one is Lessons, where you get excited about an old woman.
That was absolutely thrilling. It doesn't matter so long as you enjoy it.
I can get down with that. You got my vote. But more to the point, we get to see some nice scenes in this episode. For example, the scene where they play the piano, and the second scene where they play together in engineering and have their first kiss.
It's so good. You're definitely better than you think.
These 2 scenes where you get to see the more personal side of Picard and him interacting on a more romantic level really made me connect with him and appreciate the character even more than I did before. So again, you get to emotionally connect with the character, and on the way the human condition is again exposed because he falls in love with her and then he has to send her on this dangerous mission and he almost loses her, and at the end she did not die, but they had to break up the relationship because he felt he could not put himself in a situation like this again. So we get to see a very vulnerable side of Picard, and we get to see some interesting interaction between him and this character, Commander Darren, and we get to see them playing this beautiful music, and music always makes people connect on an emotional level, and all of this as a whole makes for a very emotional episode, making for a very interesting exploration of the human condition, which again for me is one of the more important things in Star Trek. And this is why I wanted to mention this episode as well, which again remained with me for many years, and every time I watch these scenes I feel that I love the show even more. So that's about it for this time. Do you agree with my ideas? Do you have other notions? Please write below and I will respond. And like I always say, if you like what you see, please go ahead and click the subscribe button. There are many subscribe buttons on YouTube, but this one is mine. So until next time, I'm Eyal from the Trekkies Trek. See you out there.